Is China's call for these new talks a strong enough first step to try to stabilize or calm things down in that region?
I think it's a step of desperation. I mean, if we look at China in March 2009, when the six-party talks broke off, China didn't demonstrate a sense of urgency to restart the talks. In March of 2010, when the North Koreans sunk a South Korean vessel, the entire international community condemned it, except for China. It didn't show a sense of urgency. The reason why now in this stake is because obviously the situation is escalating, it's intensifying. When the event took place on November 23rd, once again, the international community condemned it, the Chinese didn't. Now that the U.S. aircraft carrier is approaching and you're going to have these military exercises, the situation is escalating. Out of a sense of urgency and desperation, it's finally calling for a restarting of the six-party talks. This is a diplomatic embarrassment for China, what happened on November 23rd, and it's a failure of Chinese diplomacy to actually use their influence on North Korea because, after all, China is the lifeline of the North Korean regime.
So if indeed these six-party talks happen sometime in December, one would think at the early part of December, what would need to be discussed or even promised?
Well, there's the issue of North Korea's nuclear capability has been the central and key part all along. And it's there that the North Koreans have not shown seriousness, and the Chinese, in my opinion, have not applied the pressure necessary. So if it's going to be a dialogue just for the sake of dialogue, and then nothing will be accomplished. The Chinese need to be directly engaged, need to be more proactive, need to be more vocal in their condemnation of the actions of North Korea. The backroom quiet diplomacy is simply not yielding dividends.
Now, that North Korea would say these military exercises, if they continue on, then the U.S. and South Korea would be putting this region into the brink of war. Is North Korea bluffing, or do you believe they really would deliver in helping to precipitate this war?
Generally bluffing, but once again, if there's a skirmish that happens, a skirmish that spins out of control, it can develop a dynamic, an independent, irrational dynamic can lead to a vicious downward cycle, and you can see full hostilities. Once again, would it be a full-blown war? No, but a serious skirmish leading to deaths, and it can seriously escalate the situation. Now, in my opinion, these exercises are not the provocation. It's the North Koreans who are provoking. These military exercises were planned long in advance, and the reasons why they were planned were to be able to be prepared for situations such as what happened on November 23rd.
So you think North Korea is simply using it as an excuse?
It's a pretext. The pretext, once again, is trying to extract concessions, escalate the situation, start talks, and extract concessions, predominantly economic aid and aid because, once again, 1/5 of its population is nearly starving. So it needs aid. It needs international help to be able to survive.